This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome aboard for your very own live and interactive safari down here in South Africa, and a special, very warm welcome to all the families that are joining us from many, many countries in the world. Those countries including South Africa, Malaysia, Singapore, the UK, USA, Scotland, Zambia, and Portugal. Very happy to have you on board, and very, very happy to be able to take your questions from your wonderful kiddies. Remember, you can send them through to kidsquestions@wildearth.tv. I am Trishala Naidu. Yes, everyone. Sorry, you saw my name earlier, but I didn't get to say hi. Hello, Davi on camera this afternoon. And we are out on the quarantine clearings looking at some impala that are hopefully going to entertain us. But, of course, when they heard that we were going live, they got a little bit of a stage fright, and then they decided they're going to stop fighting. Now, the Impala Rams, which are the males, you can see they've got those really pretty long horns. They're getting a little bit feisty at this time of year, and that's because they're starting to get territorial. Now, territorial means that they want to defend a little piece of land against any other males that come in, so they start to fight a little bit. And that's why they're quite interesting to watch at this time of year. If we see more fighting, we will let you know. Now, it's a really nice temperature. It's what I call my favorite temperature, although it's very difficult for me to pick favorites. My favorite temperature. Out here, it's 28 degrees Celsius, or 82 degrees Fahrenheit. And it's a little bit overcast. So that means there's a lot of potential for things to happen. And when I say things, I mean maybe some predators on the move. You see, when it's very, very sunny and the sun is beating down and it's too hot, predators get very tired and they can get overheated very quickly. So when it's weather like this, slightly cool, a bit of a breeze that scares the herbivores a little bit, then we have the promise of activity. So it'll be exciting. Anyway, I'm not the only one out here at Djuma Private Game Reserve in South Africa. So is James. Let me send you over to him and say hello.
Hello, and welcome to this end of the Sunset Safari. My name is James. Owen is on camera. There's his thumb. And we are heading west. Now, I must just quickly make an excuse for these wires above our heads. They are the electricity wires that feed our camp with electricity. Without them, we cannot broadcast. And so I am afraid, although they don't look very much like we're in the wilderness, we are still in the wilderness. But we do need power in the wilderness, so that's why we have power lines here. Please send us your questions, of course, as Trishala told you, if you're between the ages of 0 and 18. kidsquestions@wildearth.tv. Anything you'd like to know about Africa, conservation, animals, grasses, birds, trees, insects. You can ask Trish about fungus. She's really good at fungus. Otherwise, let's just have a good time and see what we can find. We're heading into an area where a male leopard was found this morning. Who knows what will happen? We may find him. We may find absolutely nothing. The elephants have been very confiding in the last little while, so perhaps we'll find some of them. That's the general idea for the day. Hello, Oscar and Elias. You're wondering how close to animals we can get in the Jeep. Well, first of all, it's a Land Rover, not a Jeep, and I know that doesn't actually matter. It makes no difference, but the people from Land Rover would be scandalized if you called their car a Jeep and vice versa. But we can get pretty close depending on how the animal reacts, so it really is different for every animal. Impalas, we won't get closer than, say, 10 meters or so, which is about 33 feet, and sometimes elephants will even reach out and almost touch the vehicle. Sometimes lions can be very, very close. We had wild dogs this morning that were lying in the shade of the vehicle. So, it really does depend on the animal as to how close you can get to them. Nice question, that one. Sometimes it looks like these animals must be tame, I imagine, but they aren't tame. They are not tame at all. They're still wild. They're just very used to us. They see us as not something that is a threat or something dangerous to them. I'm just going to keep an eye out here and see if we can spot some footprints of this leopard, and while we do that, we're going to go 40 kilometers to the north to andBeyond Ngala, cut by the beautiful Timbavati River and Rowan.
Good afternoon everyone, and welcome to andBeyond Ngala. My name's Rowan, and behind the camera I've got Marcel as usual. We have absolutely no plan for the next hour and a half, so we are literally just bumbling around and seeing whatever we can find. Our plan for later though, because we found the Birmingham Pride and it didn't look like they ate something big last night or anything at all really, so we were thinking that maybe later, about 4:30, 5 o'clock, around about that time, we'll go to them and see if they slowly start waking up. So I had male lions roaring from further east, so the Birmingham Pride having both the Ross males with them. If those males start calling, we're hoping that the Ross males and the entire Pride might answer. So again, big expectations for the afternoon, but for now, just a slow bumble around the reserve for a little while. Florence, there's only 6 in the UK. We will be seeing lions today, including the 2 little white ones. So Florence, stay tuned. We will definitely be seeing lions a little bit later on today when it gets a little bit cooler. For now it's 28 degrees Celsius, about 82 Fahrenheit, so still a little bit too warm. They'll just be sleeping underneath the same bush we left them in this morning. Just a little bit too hot for a lion to be moving. However, saying that, we're also just looking for anything that's moving now. It'd be quite nice to find a herd of elephants. Again, Marcel and I still want to see baby elephants. Actually, one of the cutest animals to see out here, especially when they get quite grumpy with the vehicle and they start charging us, like trunk just flipping everywhere. So yeah, let's just see what we can find in the next hour and a half, and then we'll head across towards the Birmingham Pride. A 9-year-old Brazilian called Flora wants to know how big is an elephant or baby elephant when it's born. Flora, a baby elephant weighs about 90 kilograms, about 180 pounds when it's born. So of course, the mommy elephant is pregnant for, so as you can imagine, that's a long time for this elephant to develop, and then she or he comes out weighing 90 kilograms, which is actually, funny enough, lighter than a baby giraffe, which weighs about 100 kilograms at birth. Stand by. So yeah, quite a heavy little animal. Very cute to see. Very awkward on its feet, like not really too sure about how to walk. Although Flora, it probably took you about a year to learn how to walk, and a baby elephant can probably do it in about 10 minutes. Just then, it's the funniest thing watching them trying to figure out their trunk, that very long nose. Oh, okay. So we're going to send you back to James. He's still searching for a leopard. So we'll be joining him on Djuma.
We will be looking for everything today, not just a leopard, because as soon as I focus only on a leopard, I almost never find a leopard. So we shall focus on everything and anything that might be interesting. At the moment, I haven't found anything that might be interesting, except a couple of bushes. So we're going to turn around up ahead there, because I don't see anywhere where this kitty crossed the road. Calling a big male leopard a kitty sometimes sounds a little funny, doesn't it? They're not much like kitties at all. Hello, Elliot, aged 8 in Edinburgh. Elliot, leopards can run very fast, probably at about, I'm going to say 80 kilometers an hour. That's for a very short period though, and their speed is not so much about their ability to run fast, I'm just going to check this tree up ahead here, actually. It's not so much about their ability to run fast over a long distance, but in fact their ability to explode quickly and surprise their prey. And they can do that very, very quickly indeed. And so if you were to put them in a race with an impala, they would beat the impala over the first 10 or 15 meters, and after that they wouldn't be able to keep up. So they have got what we call explosive speed. You won't ever find a leopard running for a long time like a cheetah or a wild dog or something like that. Yes, Ruby, absolutely, they do. I'm going to look in that tree with my binoculars, and then we really are going to turn around. Ruby, you'll find that the rhino especially use those poles to sharpen their horns, and it's why they've got black covering on the bottom of them, so that they don't wear away the poles, and the poles then don't fall down. But yes, for sure, rhinos use them. And you'll find probably buffalo and wildebeest go past and give themselves a rub every so often. Elephants are the main worry, though. And I think elephants don't use them much because they're not rough, they're smooth. And elephants quite enjoy sort of rougher bark when they're trying to scratch themselves. Alright, let's move from here. We're going to do a little turn around. Go back up the way we came. Didn't see any tracks. In the meantime, we're going to go back to the lady known affectionately in camp as Trishy Kins.
Hi, James. She actually doesn't call me that, but he sleeps. He's been better at it recently. Just call me Trish, like normal people do. Well, I told you, Kitty, and that's because I'm trying to get through an area that's a little bit further away than usual. And that's because there were some wild dogs hanging out in that area this morning. I knew about how it's very difficult for predators to move around when they get very hot and overheated and it's very sunny. So it's part of predators. While I get my signal sorted out.
Sorry about that. It does happen from time to time. Now we are on our western boundary and we're going to drive up here. I'll show you one of these coverings that they've got on the poles so you get an idea of the coverings that they have that stop the poles wearing away. I think this one's got one. Seems to. So I know this isn't really an interesting piece of biology, but you can see they've got there kind of, I don't know what it's made of, like thin steel of some sort, and that's to stop the rhino rubbing away the pole. And they'll sharpen their horns on them. And I think the elephants just leave them alone, as I say, because they are just too smooth. I don't think they're very effective as a scratching post. I'm sure warthogs and things walk past them and give them a rub as well. But you don't want them falling over, do you? If they fall over, they're going to cause some damage. And then you may have noticed that the grass has been mowed here on the right hand side. And the reason for that is that this is also, as well as being the main access road into the Sabi Sands from the north, it's also a very important fire break. And so it's used if there's a big fire in the area, you could fight a fire from an area like this because you know it's not going to burn. Josh? No, as far as I'm aware, it is untrue that rhinos will stamp out fires by default. That is a story that comes from The Gods Must Be Crazy, I think, is the film. It may have come from legend before that, but basically, it's not true, no. I've been in wilderness areas around rhinos, and I've never had a rhino come and stomp on my fire. Okay, let's go back to Ngala now. I think Rowan is probably heading along through the beautiful shade of the big figs and false thorns on the Timbavati.
No, honestly, I think me and James have the same plan for the afternoon. Just drive around and see whatever we can find. Not too much here. There's a little bit of water to our right. Used to be an African rock python that lived in this tree, but we haven't seen it in quite some time. Probably about 3-4 months ago. Maybe moved on. Also haven't found tracks around this area. Although we do often find tracks a little bit down in the south of a python, and I kid you not, the track across the road is about that thick. So think of the size of that python as a big snake. Sorry, not to give anyone nightmares, but it would be absolutely amazing to see. Quite like them, I think. Misunderstood. Also have a bad reputation around here. So yeah, it's actually quite a nice afternoon. Quite a few cumulus crowds around. I think probably make for a spectacular sunset. Hopefully by that time we could find some animals to have in the foreground as the beautiful sun sets in the background. Like the other day, Marcel had some nice photos the other day of the zebras in the sunset. David has asked a very good question. He's only 14 years old, so very, very good question. Is it difficult to find animals during the lockdown? David, we were chatting about it the other day, and we've been doing extremely well. I think we're probably not finding as much as we can, because as you can imagine, usually we have about 12 cars driving around here, and with trackers. So on that seat, there'd be a person sitting looking for tracks and also spotting everything. So it makes it a lot easier during non-lockdown times to find animals, and we tend to find a lot more. So now at this stage we have about 4 vehicles driving around, Marcel and I included, and so we're not traversing as much of andBeyond Ngala as we could possibly. So I think we are missing quite a few opportunities, but it's not like we've really been struggling to show you something interesting each and every day. So yes, it would be easier if it wasn't locked down, but this is such a great learning curve for all of us. So I think all the rangers that are here, it's almost taken them out of their comfort zone and forces them to track more than they usually would, which has been a lot of fun, if I'll be honest, David. But yeah, a little bit harder. Saying that, Marcel and I have not been able to find a breeding herd of elephants for quite some time, and I've really been craving seeing a baby elephant. Nathan, age 4, wants to know what other kinds of reptiles we have in Africa. Nathan, that is an extremely long list. We have all kinds of snakes, all kinds of lizards, all kinds of geckos, skinks, tortoises, crocodiles. Yeah, Nathan, a lot. Too many to mention. However, I must say the African rock python would be one of my favorites. Marcel is a fan of the giant girdled lizard. Actually, out here we get a giant plated lizard as well, which is... giraffe. There you go. It's our first animal of the day. Male giraffe. Just crossed the road. Let me see if I can get a little bit closer to the other side. It's quite dense here, and it looks like he's moving this way. So let's see what tricks me and Marcel can pull out here. That is going to go feeding from that thorn tree. Actually just see him walking, he's standing in the shade. Well, get a good view of his legs. Good looking legs. Looks like quite an old male. Quite a few knobs in his head. Oh, lots of flies around. You just see that tail swishing constantly. Okay, well, while he's walking away, I'm going to send you back over to Djuma and Trishala.
Well, I'm here at that faraway place I was telling you that I needed to drive to. And I've spotted some vultures. Now here we have a white-backed vulture. And there's even one hooded vulture, from what I see. Hello, that's our white-backed vulture. There's our hooded one with a thin beak. Now this is important because usually vultures hang around where there's a carcass. And the particular predators that I am looking for today, here at Chitwa, are wild dogs. And wild dogs don't generally leave enough for vultures to go and scavenge on. So this is exciting. Very, very exciting. And I quite like vultures. They're really nice big birds. And they have some very cool defense strategies. Apart from the fact that they don't smell great, because they do scavenge and they will sometimes have bits of blood and other things on them that may get a little bit smelly. Apart from that, they can also throw up on themselves. I'm sure some of you kids do it too, occasionally, maybe unintentionally. But vultures do it as a defense mechanism. Maybe you can think about that too. Because no predator wants to eat something. That's covered in its vomit. Can you hear that? That is a francolin in the background that has flown into a tree, which is also a nice little clue. When we're out here in the bush, we have to look for clues if we want to find animals, right? Now, francolins and spurfowls, they're usually on the ground. I can, Davio, it's going to be a difficult shot. It's just through. Kind of there-ish. Oh, that's difficult. Well, yes. Let me try and roll forward. Just there. Did I hear that correctly? It was Radha, who's 8 years old in India. Oh, we can't see our lovely Franklin. You'd like to know what my scariest situation out in safari was? Luckily, I haven't been scared so much, but I did have lions walk right past me here. Now, if you looked at the vehicle that James is in, there's no door here. So it's just open, and the lions walked right past me here. And I had to look at the camera like this, but my one eye was actually looking through my head on the other side, making sure that the lions weren't going to attack me. But that was when I just started, and now I know better. Let's go see. Now that mighty roar that you just heard, actually elephants, not dinosaurs, though it may sound like dinosaurs. I can see them, they're playing in the water way back on that side. Sorry, vultures. A lot happening here. There are a lot of vultures here. I think that we have probably got a carcass somewhere. But we'll check it out in a moment. I'm going to pop out onto the dam wall, because if there is a carcass and the animals that are around will stay there. Okay, so let's go and have a look at these wonderful elephants first. I'm going to pop up onto the wall. There are a lot of vultures around here. We need to put our thinking caps on. Now, rather, the other situation I've had that has... Oh, okay, so what do you guys want to see first? Would you like to see the dogs, or would you like to see the elephants playing in the water? Because we're spoilt for choice. Rather, I was going to tell you that the elephants have once had some scary situations. It looks like they've caught something. It's still not enough to attract this amount of vultures, I tell you that. Whatever it is, it looks like it's definitely gotten their attention. Okay, so guys, these are wild dogs, or painted dogs, or painted wolves. They're not like your domestic dog. It's not when your domestic dog gets out and now it's in the wild and you call it a wild dog. It's different. Okay, I'm going to keep an eye on what they're doing just to make sure that you don't have to see any blood or gore or something like that. And I'm going to send you across to the elephants. Isn't this just awesome? Aren't I just spoiled? Aren't we all just spoiled that we get to see elephants playing in the water and have wild dogs on the other side of us? The amount of sightings with wild dogs and elephants has just been crazy lately, that I get to see both of them together quite often. Not by choice, though. Look at them play. I always love when they play in the water and then their tusks are really nice and clean. As they feed, they dig with their tusks. They pull the tree bark with their tusks and they get the cambium, which is the kind of the reddish underbark. They get that onto their tusks and it can get quite stained. And when they wash about, their tusks look really, really nice and white. Look at that. Harry, you'd like to know if there are crocodiles in this lake? Well, in this dam, there used to be crocodiles. I haven't seen them in a while. There were 2 large Nile crocodiles. Oh, look, the procession is leaving the water. So there were crocodiles, but I don't know if they're still around. Maybe we'll be lucky and we'll see one. Let's watch them and listen out if they make more noise. Everyone's very calm leaving the water. They can get quite excited when they leave the water, even when they approach the water, and very noisy, and I really like that. It's so important for them to keep cool because they have such huge bodies. Now we're dust bathing. Hi Benjamin, you're 6 years old and you have a great question from Toronto. You would like to know. Actually, now it just escaped my mind once I started to talk. But Louise will help me again. Oh, there we go. She also went, oh. You'd like to know how elephants talk to each other. Well, they talk to each other through a number of things. Firstly, they can use sounds, just like we talk to each other. So they can talk to each other by trumpeting, by low rumbles that we can't even hear at all because they're even below what we can hear. And what else they do is they can also talk through smell. So they can smell the chemicals in the air and in the leaves and with each other, and they can talk like that. And they can even speak by touching. They'll touch each other, they'll touch the face, things like that, and try to figure out what's going on. But rumbles and trumpets are usually what they do. All right, well, they're out of the water and they're busy dust bathing now. That's when they throw some nice sand on top of each other and themselves. And I'll send you back over to our doggies. So both these animals are trying to do the same thing, even though they're so different. Here we have a carnivore, and on that side we have a herbivore. And they're all trying to keep cool, and now they've all gone terribly flat. Let's get in. I'm going to get in down behind this wall. Hello, Frankie. You'd like to know if there was all one elephant family? Yes, it was. In fact, it was probably only a piece of the elephant family. There are very large groups of elephants. Sorry, Frankie. They're very large groups, and this might just be a small piece of the group. Anyway, I'm going to get us into a better position so we can see the dogs, but I'll send you over to James in the meantime.
We are still not being very successful, but we found a little collection of starlings. There they are. Not the best light in the world, but it's always good to just stop and have a listen and see if you can't hear some alarm calls. Maybe an impala will have spotted a predator, or a rattling testicular would have spotted a predator, or a squirrel could have spotted a predator, or even that starling. Looks like a Cape glossy starling. And there's also somewhere close by, here we go, landing, a grey go-away bird. Quack, quack. And chased the others away. Wasn't very nice of him. Oh, Anna, you're in Ireland and you're thinking to yourself, you know, there's so many cows here in Ireland. Are there cows in Africa? You probably don't speak like that at all. It's just every possible excuse I get to attempt to speak in an Irish accent, I do so. Anna, remember that Africa is so huge in comparison with Ireland. You could probably fit about 100 islands into Africa. And so, yes, we get lots and lots and lots of cows here in Africa. Some of them are the same as the cows that you get there in Ireland, but many of them are a different kind. And they have to be a slightly different kind because most parts of Africa, especially this part of Africa where I live, are much drier than they are there in Ireland, and so we have to have different kinds of cattle that can survive on drier grass and drier vegetation and with less water. So I've been to Ireland, and I'm not sure if you know this or not, but your island is known as the Emerald Isle, which means that it's very green. And of course it took me about 3 days to figure out why it is that the Emerald Isle is in fact emerald, and the reason is that it never stops raining, but for maybe 5 minutes at lunchtime each day. And it's not the same here. Here it doesn't rain a lot at all. And that means that the cows that we have here have to be a little different from the ones that you have in Ireland. Does that make sense? There are some parts of Africa where you get as much rain as you do in Ireland, but they tend to be full of forests. And cows are not great in forests. So we're just driving very slowly down this road to see if we can't spot maybe some tracks of the leopard going across, or maybe some other animals. But what a wonderful start Rishal has had with wild dogs and elephants. Jemima, a male leopard's footprint is about that size, roughly. So that's how big it would be. And it looks just like a house cat's, pretty much like a house cat's footprint. So if you take your house cat, if you've got a house cat, have a look at its foot, as long as it's not a biting house cat. And basically what you'll find is that it's exactly the same shape, but about that big for a male leopard and about that big for a female leopard. Make sense? So in addition to the tracks or the footprints, we're also looking for other signs such as spots. sitting in a tree or on a termite mound, which would allow the leopard advantage. Let's go back to Rowan, who is driving around Ngala, enjoying what is no doubt a magnificent afternoon in the Tumpati.
Well, we are rather enjoying our bumble. We were laughing for a long time about Trishala's comment that kids in self-defense also throw up towards whatever is threatening them. So of course Marcel did that as a baby. I never did that. My parents raised me differently. But yeah, otherwise, quite a quiet afternoon. For now. You can see some warthogs up the road on the side of the grass. I think if we try to get closer, you can see the way they're watching us already. So if we try, there we go. Tails up and gone. It's actually quite funny, the tails. I love it. It's an involuntary muscle reaction. So whenever they run, the tail goes up. And actually a lot of animals do that. They show their mood by their tail. So if they're uncomfortable, the tail goes up. But now imagine being a warthog and trying to run away from a leopard. And your tail is like a flag behind you in the long run. This is terrible. Mother Nature's cruel. Very, very, very cruel. Funny, but cruel. See the amazing clouds we have. Lots of cumulus clouds. Like I was saying earlier, it's going to be such a cool sunset. There we go. Wyatt wants to know how big is our camp. Wyatt, no longer. The two babies went that way, and the adult, the mom, went that way. Anyway, our camp is actually rather small and quite intimate. We have 9 tents, which allows 18 guests, and then 4 permanent rangers. That is at the tented camp. Then at the safari lodge, we have quite a number of rooms, 22 in total, but we don't have a room number 13 because it is associated with bad luck. So it goes from 12 to 40. And then we have a nice safari suite, which sleeps 4. So I think in total there should be 44 guests. Oh, here's some more warthogs. Oh, we're doing well. She only has 1 baby, and this baby looks a little bit older, more relaxed, funny enough. Oh, there we go. Give us a look. Hello. See the little... okay, there we go. It's funny, Lou said quickly before they ran away, and then as she said run, that baby just went... So Lou, you jinxed that one. Hey, doing quite well with warthogs today. We have a warthog that lives in camp, actually, Wyatt. His name is George. Big male. Lou's blaming me, said I spoke too loud. Okay, alright. Half, yeah. 50%, 50%. So, we have a George in camp. Funny enough, it's probably not George, it's actually maybe William by now. We used to have a George. Then George died, but there was a second male, so he became George. And now we think the second male died, but now there's a third male, so we'll just keep calling him George. So technically George III is now in camp. But the first George, one of the funniest things I ever saw was a young male leopard, take one young male, stalked up to George and actually got so close that he managed to smack him on the bum. And then George, big warthog, like basically a mini rhino, George turned around and the leopard and the warthog were just staring at each other for about a split second, and both of them just went opposite directions. Absolutely hilarious to see. I think that's why leopards would be my favorite animals. It's a baboon coming through the clearings here. It's like, you know, especially a young male leopard, it's whatever they do, it looks like they're having fun. It's like naughty animals. Speaking of naughty animals, I'm trying to show you this baboon. It's also considered quite a naughty animal. One actually nearly pooed on Marcel the other morning. Where did he just... He's now sitting right behind that very thick bush. Oh, there he goes. So Lou thinks baboon should be considered a good animal because it nearly pooed on Marcel. Actually, I might agree with you there. Depending on... Marcel's cooking us chicken curry tonight. So depending on the taste of the curry. Lou nearly got weed on by a vivid monkey. I got attacked by a troop of vervet monkeys when I was younger. Actually, this happened right after we went to, there's a place in South Africa called Sun City, and I was still a kid. And there were quite a few animals, like mostly farm animals, goat and this and that, in pens. And there was a baby ostrich. And my mom said, Roan, put your finger through the wire and let's see, how it reacts. So, of course, I'm like 8 years old. Well, no, I think I was 6 or 7. And, of course, at that age, whatever your mom asks you to do, you listen to her because it's the voice of reason. So I put my finger through the wire and this baby ostrich bit me. So, of course, since then, I've developed major trust issues, but such is life. And then after that, I got attacked by the vervet monkey. Okay, well, this baboon is just foraging around. It's actually quite a nice setting for him, that silhouette. But Trish has wild dogs, so we're going to send you over to Djuma.
I have also been foraging, looking for wild dogs that are very well hidden by the grass at the moment, making it very difficult for me to get a good view. So this is the only one we can see at the moment. Hello, you. Hello. Oh no, you have the eye injury. I saw this picture of this dog's face this morning, and luckily you could see that he still had an eye, which is most important, even though the injury is just below it. Now you can see that the grass is really, really tall. So it's very difficult when they lie flat like that, which is what they like to do at this time of day. It's very, very difficult to see them. Would you believe there are more dogs just sitting there in that grass, except we can't see them. Oh, hello. There's a little ear or two. Oh, look at that, kids, just for you. Just for you. This one has decided to show itself. How beautiful is that coat? Bit of a stretch. And then hidden yet again. Hello Dana, you're 6 years old and you're from Scotland. You'd like to know, what do these painted dogs or wild dogs eat? Well, they are carnivores. So that means they eat meat. They have to eat meat, and they especially like impala. Now, they're not very big animals. They're only about 20 to 30 kgs, so they can't take massive animals, so they like medium-sized. And impala are really good medium-sized antelope. Impalas are the things we saw when we first started the drive, and they had the big horns and they were eating out in quarantine. Those are impala. But they can also take larger animals, the wildebeest or zebra, because they work in a pack. And even occasionally, if there's lots of them and they have a really, really good pack mentality and that they're all strong and healthy and a good opportunity, they can also try to take down a buffalo, which occasionally they have, even though those are very large animals. But impalas are always the favorite for wild dogs. Another favorite of theirs is to sleep when it's too hot, or at least to lie down, maybe not being fully asleep. Lions, on the other hand, have a similar strategy. Eat in sort of the cooler parts of the day and then sleep in the warmer parts of the day. But they fall right off to sleep, not even just a lie down. Well, that was really awesome. At least we got to see them. I think that's always the best part of it, isn't it? Well, kiddies, we really, really thank you for your questions and all your comments, and I hope you had a great time. But we now invite everyone else to also send their questions and comments through and tell us anything you like, ask us anything you like using the hashtag WildEarth, the YouTube chat stream, or Twitch. we will happily take them on board. Now, I think I may actually pop back onto the dam wall, because we're sitting here with these wild dogs and we have a very, very bad visual at the moment. And that's okay, because it is really warm. Like I said to the kids earlier, 28 degrees Celsius, 82 degrees Fahrenheit, so they may feel like they still want to rest up for a little bit. And they are totally hidden in this grass, apart from you. Injured eye. Yes. I saw a lot of vultures early on, and I want to investigate that just a little bit. But I'm not the only one out and investigating. James is as well, so let's go find out who he's looking for.
Well, I'm staring at the ground, having to find a footprint or two of a leopard. But do you think I can find one? No. No, I can't. No, nothing here. Owen shaking his head, saying, nay, not here. Anyway, we're now going to go towards a waterhole near the north of the reserve called Sydney's Dam. And there at Sydney's Dam, apparently 7 wild hounds were found this morning. I don't know if they'll still be there, but sometimes this male leopard called Hukumuri likes to go up in that direction. And so we'll just go there and see what pitch is up, shall we? Here are some impalas. Hello, impalas. You don't look terribly like you've seen a male leopard come wandering by. The pirate king of the leopards, with his dodgy eye. It's quite an adventurous young ewe. Adelaide, was your question, do the lions fight each other? Yes, sometimes. But you know, most animals out here do their best to avoid confrontation. And they do that because they can be injured if they fight. And an injury for animals is very difficult because they very seldom have got help to feed them, let's say, if they get injured. So in the case of lions, yes, if they're lucky, they can follow their pride, and hopefully the pride will let them eat some food. Hyenas the same. But an injured leopard, for example, will just not eat unless it can steal some food. An injured impala will be unable to get away from something. An injured lion will be vulnerable to attack from other lions. And so if they can avoid having a fight, they do avoid having a fight. And you'll find that the more social a species becomes, the more willing it will be to engage in a physical battle. And so lions are more willing to have a fight than leopards are. Primates, interestingly, are willing to have fights much more readily than a lot of other animals, and that's because they live in groups, and often they're foraging, and they can forage with an injury. They don't have to worry about foraging with a sprained ankle or a sore arm. But an injury, a severe injury to something like an impala, is a real problem, because predators are programmed to look out for weakness. So, in a long-winded way, yes, lions will fight, but they will probably try and avoid it. Now, this is not a sort of request we get very often. Jenny, you want to see the grass species Eragrostis superba, aka the saw-toothed lovegrass. Jenny, I will do my level best to find you Eragrostis superba, the saw-toothed lovegrass. You know, I don't know where a great stand of it is, but I will certainly do my best to find some, for sure. Like I say, not very often we get asked for grass species. Quite nice. Of course, now I'll be looking for grasses and not for leopards. But not looking for leopards doesn't seem to make a big difference. Hello, impalas. Why are you not running away? I'm very pleased you're not running away, but why are you not running away? Hi. Hi, guys. Amazing, the little ones which were born just in December. And Bill, you're hoping we can check on the grebe nest. I will try and check on the grebe nest at the dam later on for sure. I went past it twice on drive this morning, but I was on the way to somewhere else. And so I didn't spend any time with it. I'm just going to quickly have a look at this Vernonia plant. Judy H is still convinced that we got two species of this thing here, one of which has got bicolored leaves and the other of which doesn't. And bicolored basically just means two-colored, and you'd expect them to be paler on the bottom than on the top. So Judy H, here's the one. See that? Tell me when you've got a close-up, Owen, and I'll flick it around. And there's the other side. I would say that that is not bicolored leaf. I would say that that's a pretty basic one. I'll keep looking. I think it's me standing out of the car, and I also think it's the Rams. Yeah. If they'd seen a leopard, they'd be going... Good. We'll go up quickly, check this dam, and come down here again, and perhaps move on somewhere else. While we do that, let's go back to Rowan at Ngala and see if he is also heading towards water or somewhere else.
I think we've got exactly the same plan as James. We are now heading towards Clara Dam, which is the dam on the eastern side. Let's see if anything is coming down to drink. It is a rather hot afternoon. No, we were driving in the riverbed a little bit earlier, and yes, you could just feel the sun beating down. And Marcel was telling me all about his tan lines from cycling, and that when he goes to the beach, you can clearly see who's done the 94.7 cycle challenge in December. Actually, I'm not a cyclist, but I do think I probably have the exact same tan lines doing this job every single day. So before you got sent to me from James, Lou was telling me, we're going to ask James to send the viewers back to Ngala so we can watch you chase away more animals. I'll have you know, Lou, that we've not chased away any animals. It was your voice that scared them off. But like I said, you're still bumbling. Not too much around for now. Oof. Getting burnt here. But yeah, the plan is we'll check the watering hole, wait for it to cool down a little while, and then Lou, I'm going to show you something. The Birmingham Pride, which we have found this morning. Okay. Right, so we are literally just waiting for it to cool. So Lou is disputing that we found the Birmingham Pride. It was such a cool find, I'll be honest. We checked the dam, we caught in tracks of a line going west, and then we came the other way around. The tracking team came from behind, the tracking team being Andre and Sean. Then we checked the watering hole, and you could see tracks for two lines going down, and then I got off the car to quickly check whether they split to the right or to the left, and saw the tracks going left, so I just walked a little while, and then I had this hyena come running straight at me, and a lioness following the hyena. So the lioness was chasing the hyena away from the cubs, and then I saw Sean and Andre on the other side watching the rest of the pride. So we found them together. You know, teamwork is all that matters out here. Just found them from different angles. Okay. Lou is just giving me all sorts of troubles. Said I only found the hyena and the lion. Yeah, Lou, actually, how many animals have you found today? Stuart26, thank you for changing that subject. We don't have brown hyena here. No, we only have spotted hyena. I think there are certain places where you'll find both spotted and brown hyena, but majority of the time, if you have the one, you won't really see the other. So we have the more social hyenas, the ones that live in clans all together, and not the brown hyenas. Although very interesting animals. I've seen quite a few of them in my life. I quite like them. Very pretty. Prettier than the spotted hyena, I think. Although the reputation for hyenas has really been slandered quite badly. Okay, right, so Lou has just answered my question saying she has found no animals today. If you can zoom in on that. 0. Yeah. Marcel's just listing everything we found today, and I mean, he's been speaking now for at least 12 minutes. It's just going and going and going and going. Thanks, Marcel. Make me feel a lot better. Lou says Marcel never stops speaking. I'll have you know, it's actually true. Marcel does talk a lot. He's been practicing his dance, which is good news for us. You've got, what, 7 days left? Don't know. People couldn't see your thumb there. Lou wants Marcel to break dance. Lou, what we'll do, I'll give him a top hat and a stick, and I think we'll just let him dance in front of him. It's not, you know, it might not be the best idea to break dance on this type of soil. I think you need something smoother. Actually, maybe we can find you a smooth. How's your break dancing, Marcel? Non-existent, yeah. Let's stick with the top hat and a stick, I think. Okay, we're not too far from this watering hole now. Let's see if there is anything here. Okay, so Trish is also now just on a mission to look for anything she can find. She's left the dogs, and we're going to send you back over to her just for an update.
I am very much still on a mission, or rather now I am on a mission. Before I had the dogs, but they are very, very flat on the other side of Chitwa Dam. So flat that we can't actually see them, and they are in the most perfect place that I cannot get in. There are logs fallen over, there's edges on either side. As I was driving, Darby said, it's a long fall, that. It's a proper drop, that. And I said, yes, we can't afford to lose anything on this vehicle. So we have decided, since they're flat and we're feeling lucky on Chitwa today, haven't been on here in such a long time, I thought, let us keep driving a little bit and check a couple things out. First thing we checked out were the vultures that were hanging around near the wild dogs, but there were so many, and there were white-backed vultures and hooded vultures, that just felt to me that a little scraggly bits, those scraggly carcass, or bits of carcass. Let's just say hi to this Burchell Starling because I like them so much. No, it's gone away. Probably shouldn't have said how much I like it. Just playing hard to get. So I went to investigate the vultures, and usually it would be a lion kill that attracts that amount of vultures and different types. But no, oh, okay, here's a Burchell Starling that will stay for me. But no, I could see nothing else, and I did see the wild dog's carcass. Maybe it was the smell that had attracted them. But it just seemed like so many. Anyway, we have a pretty bird instead. This is a Burchell Starling, everyone. My favorite starling. Colors are just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So striking, so perfect. Yes, you. Now, if you find one of these feathers lying on the ground, they'll just look black to you. And to me, don't worry. And then you pick it up and you turn it around a little bit, and the light reflects off it, and you get this beautiful iridescence. And this color. Some of my favorite colors on the starling. And maybe that's a bad sentence since all colors are my favorites. But I particularly like blues and purples. Just beautiful. The forehead is particularly pretty in my books. Like a leopard that I'm hoping to find today. That being Kuchava and Cub. I have no idea if they are around, but the Chitwa is the area where I could find them. So I have no idea if they're around, but oh well, I'm going to go have a look since we're feeling good. When we got up on Kids Drive, if you were with us during then, when we got up onto the dam wall, we had elephants playing in the water on one side and the wild dogs on the other. So I think we're feeling lucky. Yeah, Davi?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're feeling lucky. So let's see if Kuchava is also feeling good about us. Marissa, I think I heard you correctly in that what is the rarest vulture species? Most endangered. I think that would be the Cape vulture. We hardly see the Cape vulture here. In fact, it looks very much like a white-backed vulture, but the eye is yellow. And that's quite an obvious difference when you see. I myself have not seen one here. I've seen one in a bird conservancy type place in the nearby town. Let's say hello to these warties. But I haven't seen one out in the wild in the Sabi Sand here. But they would be able to be here, and they do come out. And I think that they are the most endangered. All vulture species are listed as vulnerable, but some obviously more than others. These guys here, however, they're only vulnerable to Hukamuri, who loves a good warthog, so they get stuck there. Hukamuri loves a good warthog. I like them too, not to eat though. Hello, Pooh in the UK. You'd like to know the vultures nest in trees or rocks here? They nest in the trees. In fact, there's a really nice vulture's nest on Philemon's cut line. I may be able to show you once I get back onto Djuma, or maybe James, if he's driving past, I can show you. There's a white-backed vulture's nest. It's always nice to smell the air. It smells quite grassy. Slightly fragrant. Very nice. Okay, I am still searching for that spotty lady, but James is also searching for a very spotty, not lady, but Hukamuri. Over to him.
I'll take a spotted lady very happily. A very spotty not lady. Here is an unspotty not lady. Hello, you fine fellow. Why are you running? That is not the way to impress ewes. Ewes will be impressed by the warrior ram. That's it, good boy, chasing the others. Utterly ridiculous. Just bizarre. He's coming back again.
Chasing his buddy back.
What a noise. What a noise. Imagine men did the same sort of thing in a bar at night. They do. They do, sort of, I suppose. It's a little bit like when they tell a story. Yeah, I was playing rugby this weekend and this guy came out and I tackled him to the ground, flattened him like that, and he didn't get up again. Yeah, well, I was outside trying to catch a taxi, and this guy came past and he said he'd take my taxi, and I decked him one and he fell over. Yeah, me too. I also did the same thing. I suppose it's very similar. By which time, of course, as is exactly the case with the impala, the ladies have all absconded to go and talk amongst themselves about how idiotic the male of the species is. Another classic. You looking at my lady? Oh well, I didn't know she was your lady. Well, she is. Does she know she's your lady? Yeah, she does. Well, I just asked her and she doesn't. So you are looking at my lady. At which time the lady just disappears. There is quite a lot of insistent chasing going on here. Yeah, one of them behaving as if he's just seen a wild dog. They do that stotting sometimes when they see a wild dog. I once saw a whole herd of impala doing that stotting behavior on a clearing at Ngala called Little Kenya. No surprises that the clearing there was called Little Kenya. And the dogs ran straight past them, left them alone. Right, I don't think we're getting, I'm just going to reverse back, Owen. Well, I was hoping to just roll back, because you might be able to hear the francolin calling, and then you'll hear a little whistle in the background. It's baby francolin's contact calling. You know, for a very long time, I had no idea what I was listening to, so if you just stick the camera in here, we might get an idea. So you can hear the adults, and can you hear the whistling? Unfortunately, our ambient microphone appears to be on the fritz. Now it's stopped. Never mind. Alrighty, let's move along. Just going to move out the way so that Michelle can come past, the GM of Djuma. We'll have another last look into the bush here. The impala, and while we do that, we're going to go apparently across to a fellow who I've not met. He is known as Rowan the Terrifier of Impala.
So apparently Lou's been lying to James as well. I have not terrified any animals. We're just checking clearings now on the eastern boundary to show you that once we do find an animal, it does not always run away. First we need to find an animal, and then in about half an hour or so we'll go to the pride, who's also, Lou, I'll have you know, not going to run away from us. So I'm actually quite excited to show you that. Of course, we're just waiting for the temperature to dip a little bit before we go back to the lions. Oh, I just look up into the sun and now I completely blinded myself. Michael asked if we've noticed or seen any more activity at the hyena den. So Michael, I went past it this morning and yeah, I went, you know, there was scat nearby, so hyena poo was, of course, the white color. It's actually unmistakable. Found more animals. See, I'm on a roll, Lou. Some wildebeest and zebra in the clearing. Wouldn't surprise me if I have some, did I say zebra? I meant impala. Wouldn't surprise me if there are any zebra here. Look, none of them are running away. The birds might be flying away, but that's different story. It was because Marcel set up to get the camera. So not my fault. So Michael, just to continue on that, we have not seen them there in quite a while now, which we have been checking quite regularly. So it might maybe possible that she moved her den again. We'll see if we have almost a morning off where we don't need to track the pride or try to find a leopard, then we'll go back into that area and see where all the tracks go from there. Right now, just a whole bunch of wildebeest just basking in the sun. Quite a nice flat area for them. They'll probably end up sleeping here as well because it's harder for ambush predators to get to them. Give an idea, the pride is about 3 kilometers behind us in the opposite direction. Eloise, good question. They used to migrate, but what happened in South Africa is everyone started putting fences around their properties, and then they introduced man-made watering holes, so dug out holes which they pumped full of water, so there's literally no need for them to migrate anymore. So even though it used to happen, they don't migrate anymore, such as they do in East Africa. So yeah, it's quite funny. We used to have a fence around this property as well, and if you speak to some of the older trackers and rangers, the picture before the fence was taken down, they said a lot of prides of lions actually took that fence or took advantage of their fence, and they would especially run wildebeest into the fences to trap them and kill them. It's a good question, Eloise. I don't see any zebra in these clearings. Often you find zebra along with wildebeest, and we had some zebra behind us, but it wasn't the greatest view. Oh, you can hear them canoeing now. So that sound is a male going canoe. And it's actually, the other name would be a brindled canoe because they look so stripy and they go canoe. But it seems like Trish has also found another animal, an aquabuck, which I take would probably be a waterbuck, the white ring. So we're going to send you back to Djuma.
Well done, Rowan. It is a waterbuck. Louise also said to me, aqueduct. Aren't they just gorgeous? It's beautiful the way that the light... Oh, aquabuck. There we go. I thought aqueduct was a strange one. But isn't it just beautiful the way that the light goes and catches their lovely fur? Now, their fur is very nice and shaggy, especially around the necks. And they're actually hollow. The little hairs are hollow, and I wonder if that contributes to just how beautiful the light is. There's a couple of young ones in there. There seems to be a breeding herd. Females, and they're young. Look at how their noses, just big hearts. I always think they look quite stern. That's actually a really nice way to see their vibration or their whiskers. You don't often think of antelopes or any other animal besides, your predators, your cats and dogs having whiskers, but most mammals do. And that helps them to be able to get an extra sense of feel and touch. So when something goes near their mouths, they're used to a certain sensory, a bit of sensory information. Jethro, you say they kind of look like llamas? I think so too. I think they do kind of look like llamas. They have really nice long necks. Oh, there's a little one, Darby. I don't know if you can actually see it. Just off. There we go. Hello, cutie. Really sweet. You can see that very obvious round white mark on the bottom. Tails swigging. Chase away flies. Flies always like the most vulnerable areas. And there are a few more vulnerable areas than the anus. Apart from the fact that it's got to be kept very clean and the skin is very sensitive. It's also a part of the animal that doesn't have very much fur to protect it. So the tail hangs over there. It swings about as well to protect from flies. Can only imagine how irritating that must be. I also quite like that around the eyes they have some whiteness as well to match their patterned bottom. Hi, Fluffy Line. You'd like to know if there's a reason that antelope chew on the side? There is. That's the way that their jaw works. They don't. It's actually not quite side to side as it is rounded, and then grinding across. And that's because of the teeth that they have. Antelope have flattened teeth, and the crowns of their teeth are quite large, or quite high from the jawline, and that's an adaptation to be able to chew on grass. Grass is actually, in terms of evolution and the geological time scale of the earth, is quite a recent addition. Animals that would kind of just firstly float around and then, or catch anything that would float around, didn't take much effort and energy, so that's when things were very, very simple. And then after that, predator-prey interaction started to be quite intense, and that's what kind of drove that evolution. And only after that, once there was enough plants on the earth, did herbivores evolve as browsers. And then only fairly recently, I'm talking in the last maybe 50 to 30 million years, possibly even earlier, did grass become a thing. And that's when herbivores started to become grazers as well. And in order to do that, they needed specialized teeth and specialized stomachs to be able to actually digest cellulose, and a jaw movement that would allow them to grind on grass. Now, grass has tiny little crystals, silica crystals, in them. They're called phytoliths, and that can be very damaging to teeth. So if the average animal that doesn't have the typical herbivore teeth comes along and starts eating grass, for one, they won't be able to digest it, so it'll be of no nutritional value to them. And B, they would damage their teeth. So that's why herbivores have developed these high crowns and flat bases on their teeth to be able to chew like this. I think that was Chula in Joburg. Hello, you're right around the corner, almost. You'd like to... Isn't they called waterbuck? Waterbuck? It mostly comes from... So, just a bit of background before we get into this, because it's not as if the defense strategy is always to run into the water. Back when, years and years and years ago, they'd look at one feature that they thought was prominent or unique, and then they'd name the animal after that feature. And what was seen, and it's still seen, is that waterbuck, when they are threatened, will run to the water for a bit of safety. But that is not always the case, but it is obviously been, or has been, seen enough for...
Okay. So, it seems everyone has their different version of explaining a waterbuck. It's quite funny. For me, they actually do look like a llama and a donkey. Went out for a romantic date, had too much to drink, and then voila, a waterbuck. Wait, kid show is over, right? So, well, you get what I mean. Anyway, so, yeah, we came to check the hyena den, and once again, no luck in this area. So, yeah, we probably do need to come spend quite a bit of time on foot here. Come walk around and see what is happening, where majority of the tracks go. Like I said, it's quite a treacherous two-track, this. I'm trying to not drive Marcel into a tree. What do you say?
Can we set up a Twitter poll to see what people agree with on the water bug?
Oh, Marcel wants to set up a Twitter poll and see what everyone thinks a waterbuck looks like. What made a waterbuck? Marcel calls it the golden retriever of the antelope world. So Lou's on my team, finally, for the first time today. She does not agree with it looking like a golden retriever of the wild. Anyway, so I think, of course, when the warthog ran away from me, from the vehicle, not me, how the tail went up, and saying how cruel it is of Mother Nature, and a waterbuck would be a rather good example again, because who paints a target on an antelope's bum and then sends it out into the wild? It's also rather cruel. Okay, well, no luck there, then. So we're going to start making our way to the lions, see what they are up to. There's an impala crossing the road, followed by a male impala crossing the road. He's done well for himself. He's got quite a few ladies. And zebra. There we go. See, Lou, none of them are running away. Slowly just walking. Monique, my favorite time to be on Game Reserve, I think when it's cooler, dusk and dawn. Actually, I love being out in the mornings. There's something about starting a fresh day in the bush. You never know what's going to be out there. You never know what tracks you're going to see. Every day is a surprise. Oh, this is actually quite nice. The sun is hitting them perfectly. Contrast of the zebra stripes, followed by a few impalas. Quite a large herd that may sees. Lou is saying the animals are not running away from me because they know they should never run. You can actually see the impala, the male, is almost herding his female. See how he goes to the right, and then he lifts his head a little bit, and he'll make a sound, and then he's goes to the left. If some of them go a bit too far, venture a bit too far to the side, then he herds them back. Nice big herd of zebra in the back as well. Mia, who's only 8 years old, wants to know if only Americans that pronounce it zebra. Mia, the Canadians do the same thing. I've had a couple of Australians saying zebra as well. Now, what started happening to me, it's like Tanzania and Tanzania. But now what's been happening to me is if someone says zebra, then I say zebra. And if someone says zebra, then I say zebra. I'll have you know that the word is spelled Z-E-B-R-A, not Z-E-E-B-R-A. Zebra is most probably the correct way of pronouncing it. Although when I went to America, even the way I said water, every single time I ordered water, it was an issue. People didn't know what I wanted. So, yeah, water. Can I have some water? So Americans are known to pronounce things quite strangely. But then again, who am I to say that? Because I think you guys find my accent rather strange. That was quite a nice shot of the two female impalas in front of the zebra. Shaping off to be a very nice afternoon. It doesn't really cool down too much, but I'm sure it should pretty soon. There's a bit of a breeze coming. Look at the male. Did you get that? He actually reared himself up completely and then started chasing the females. Let's see, maybe he does it again. That was quite impressive. I've seen spotted deer in India do the same. I've actually seen them stand on their hind legs to try to get to leaves. But I've never seen a male impala actually do that. Well, only when they fight. Do it again. No pressure. No pressure at all on you. It's these males there. It's a bit like James Hendry's accent. A little bit earlier. He'll probably talk in that tone. And the zebra just peacefully going through. I like it when they nod their heads like that. It's like they're listening to some cool beat. And just walking, vibing. Lou wants to know what kind of beat. Do I think it's hip hop, electro, or some kind of smooth jazz?
I think some French house.
Marcel thinks some French house. I would go with maybe progressive vocal trance. You know, at this time, with the sun setting. There's a baby zebra coming. I know, that's hip hop. He's not getting it right. There's nothing smooth about that. And here comes the older ones. There's a lot of zebra. A good sized dazzle. I think that baby actually might have had a fly or something in its ear. It was trying to kick it out while it was running. Oh, those tails are busy. There's another male impala approaching from the back. Competition. Here it comes. I'm joking. This is going to take a very... Oh, the male is actually going to the other one. So Anushka's asked, how does a zebra's mane not grow any longer than that? Anushka, I don't know. I really don't know why it doesn't. Yeah, I can't give you a clear answer on that. I think, isn't it the same thing with horses? I mean, their mane just gets to a certain length and it stays there.
Why doesn't my hair not grow any longer anymore?
Marcel's hair is also not growing longer anymore. He's got into zebra stage now. Sorry, Marcel. His beard is still growing. I'll give you that. James is also not growing hair. Owen's also not growing hair. Got a few zebras in our midst. I didn't mention that to Owen or James. It doesn't look like these males are going to fight. Maybe. Oh, and one is coming from the right. It's going to... Oh, it's a female. No, it is a male. No, they're running off. It's not their time yet. Yarp the squirrel. I was asked what type of zebra these are. These are plain zebra. They've got a very characteristic shadow stripe in between the black stripes, which is only found in this species. On the Birchall zebra. Plains game. Be quite a nice meal for the Pride of Lions if they decide to go this way. I'm hoping that they don't come this way because this means they'll be moving east, which take out of the property again. I hope they go west and go deeper into andBeyond Ngala. Just imagine the amount of flies that are flying around them. Oh, there goes the male chasing a female again. Come here, my dear. Oh, can you hear him sneezing? I call it sneezing. It's the ratting sound. Lou says, how romantic. It's exactly how Lou likes to be flirted with. Okay, so we're going to send you back to James. He's looking at a bird of prey, and then we'll make our way to the lions.
Yes, that is a flying bird of prey. And this particular bird of prey is a bird of prey that is of the sort of tastes that we would find distasteful, but of course is just the way of the bird of prey's life. This particular bird of prey is a gymnogene, or African harrier hawk. Gymnogene is a much nicer name, I think, but the ornithologists love to ruin our fun, and so it is called an African harrier hawk now. And what it's doing is flying, obviously, but it's probably looking for something. Did it scratch its face while it was flying? That's most impressive. Either that or it's catching things on the wing. Louise, are you sure it was scratching its face? Or did it catch something in the air and put it in its mouth? Alright, Louise is convinced it's scratching its face. I can believe it. Anyway, what it's doing is looking for food. Nice name, I think. And what it normally eats, which gives it its slight, I suppose, less than honourable reputation, is nestling birds. That's its speciality. It flies down and hauls nestling birds out of holes. Well, it'll also eat lizards and whatever else it can find in holes. Nice, hey? We are now going to have a slow motion replay of the great face scratching event. Tell me when you're ready. Right, and here we go. Wow, look at it scratching its face. Well done. Okay. Well done. Right, so while you were away with Rowan, I think it was, most of the time, I did a walk through the block where Hukumuri disappeared. I looked on all the termite mounds I could find. I didn't see anything. I didn't find a track, so I don't know if he's in there and he whacked something, or he's just disappeared somewhere else, or what the story is. Anyway, we'll continue down towards Treehouse Waterhole now, and we're going to go back to Tishala, who has got elephants.
Yes, I do, and I'm sure that's what James will hope to find. Will hope to have at Treehouse Dam also. Now these look like the same, in fact they are, the same elephants that we saw earlier on the dam wall, all the way on the opposite side of the dam wall, having a swim and then having a bit of a dust bathe. And now, as if there was anything else to do, the obvious next step, and that is to have a snack. Really, really lovely herd. Some individuals with some really nice tusks here. One's just moved behind the bush, so you can't see them yet, but when she comes out, I'll point them out to you. Point her out to you. Just gorgeous. The light is perfect. This is one of my favorite times of day for light. In the summer, it used to be around 5:30. Now, because it's getting cooler, we're switching properly into autumn, soon into winter. It's become an hour earlier. I want you to just listen to them as they eat and move. We have to have the sound of the Cape turtle dove in the background, of course, otherwise it's just not Africa. Very nice. Let's move up just a little bit. Let's see if we can get a better view. See if there's any other members of the herd walking past. Oh, hello, girl. Let's get a little bit in front so we can see your head. There we go. Hello, you are spectacular. So gentle. Now I want you to have a look at her midsection and the skin on it, and you'll see that it looks a little bit smoother. There, it's still crinkly, but if you go up a little bit more, see, it starts to smooth out just a bit. And that's actually because of the water that she's been playing in and then throwing the sand onto herself. That actually falls in a bit of the cracks. Kind of a bit like, I guess, foundation on a human face. Helps to keep her, hold the moisture in and keep her cool. It also pulls any parasites out once she decides that she's found a good tree to scratch up against. Oh, hello, cutie. You can see that these little tusks have poked out quite nicely. I'd say this one's about 3 years old. Everybody's very calm in this herd. Hello, Grace. You're 7 years old and you would like to know how many individuals are in this herd? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I think. There may be another or a few more members hiding amongst the bushes. But I see 8. This must be a great patch of grass. Little bit of a greeting / fight going on. Now this little one wants to join. You're too small, you can't hang out with us. Oh, so sweet. Elephants are great entertainers when it comes to fighting. They're very good at it. Matthew, that is really a cool question. You'd like to know why elephants visit areas where members of the herd have died? There's a couple reasons for that. One is that elephants are quite intelligent, and perhaps they have a very close bond to those that have died, and will feel some sort of remorse or some sort of feeling associated with this place of death or the carcass of a loved one that has died. Carcass, I feel that is a more likely situation because they can see this member that has died. But that's a very general kind of idea, because we're not sure if it's because, or we're not sure if they visit places where older animals have died, in which case there's a lot of other things to consider. Firstly, elephants go through a rotation in teeth, and once they're done with that, they can only go to particular places to eat where the food happens to be softer. So if there are lots of animals that are very old, they're going to end up in the same spots once they've gotten their final teeth or their teeth are starting to wither away. And that's also one of the explanations for elephant graveyards, and that maybe they're not actually going to die in the same space or same spot, but rather that spot has particularly soft food, which they need to survive if they don't have good teeth. And the other reason we can think of is also that because they do have excellent memories, they are able to gather experience and remember areas of water from their childhood, once they're big, mighty matriarchs. So they have this excellent sense of memory, and perhaps there's a spot that they particularly like, and then they walk through it, and it happens to be a spot where animals have died. In which case, our evidence is not full enough to be able to say exactly why. Okay, I'm going to send you over to Rowan at andBeyond's Ngala. I think he has something for you, and I'm going to try and head back to those dogs.
The mighty water. I don't think Clara Dam has ever been described as mighty water. It's a massive compliment. Thank you, Trish. We missed you. Right, so we've decided to just come sit in the shade for a little while. See the little grebes swimming around. Hippos pop up every now and then. There's some Egyptian geese here. A few white-faced whistling ducks. Can't see any weavers. But in the tree in front of us, we've got a whole bunch of nests. All weaver nests. Probably southern masked weaver or lesser masked weaver. And yeah, they're quite a strange bird. So I think majority of South Africans here would know that you always get these yellow weavers in your garden, and so the yellow ones are the males. And so they'll start building this nest, and it takes them days on end. They'll fly out, grab a piece of grass here, grab a piece of leaf there, go construct this nest, and then the female would come along and just inspect it, and then if she decides she does not like it, they can't move in. So then the male has to build a new house, and a new house, and a new house, and a new house. So I sincerely hope that there's more than one male here, because there's about 12 nests in this tree, so he must have had a very busy year so far. Sadly though, we've been sitting here for quite a while, and I still have not seen the little grebe chick. So I'll be honest, I don't think it survived. Kathy's asked if we've ever seen superb starling here. Kathy, we don't see superb starling here. My favorite, I know Trishala's favorite is probably the birch or starling, but my favorite would be the violet-backed starling. Kathy, have you ever seen those? They are phenomenal. But no, I've never seen a superb starling here. You don't find them in South Africa. And isn't that East Africa? Don't think you find superb no, you definitely don't find superb starling in South Africa. Sorry, Kathy, can't help you there. But look at a violet-backed starling, also stunning birds, absolutely gorgeous. Alright, so what I was saying, I don't think this little grebe chick is alive anymore, unless it grew very quickly. There's a hummerkop flying over. I just went into the tree. You can hear the squeak every now and then. Squeak. The hippos seem to be very lazy. Surprised that no elephants come to drink. So far, Marcel and I have had no luck with elephants at all. We set out every single time looking for elephants, or baby elephants in particular. And then we just managed to find other things. But I'm not complaining. Such is life out here in the wild. Annie in Johannesburg wants to know the difference between an eagle, a hawk, and a kite. So Annie, the way I understand it, majority of it has actually got to do with size. I think all eagles are larger than hawks. And then a kite, let's think about the kites we see here. A yellow-billed kite, very quick to react, very quick to, how do I say this? We have black-shouldered kites, yellow-billed kite, all smaller than eagles. Hawks are smaller than eagles, but I think hawks rely mostly on their speed on the way down when hunting. And eagles are just much larger. Majority of them have feathers feathers down the legs, and I think they take down bigger things. Whereas I know yellow-billed kites are scavengers. Black-shouldered kites will hunt for themselves, but they can hover. Whereas I know you find eagles that hover as well. I think snake eagles, black-chested snake eagles can hover. Very good question, Kathy. Probably need to get back to you on that one. I'm trying to think of all the differences. I think mostly size. What do you think, Marcel?
I think it's mostly size. Might also be something to do with the beak.
Marcel thinks also mostly size, but maybe something to do with the beak.
Hawks are also part of the Secretary Day. Same as eagles.
Very, very, very good question. We like being stumped by questions as much as, because it gives us something to do after game drive. Now I have to go find out the difference between that. Okay, so James has got into a water hole. I'll think about your question some more, Kathy, and then we're going to send you back to James. I think we might start making our way to the lions now.
So we were hoping to find the lions here. We've had some tracks heading towards Buffelshoek Waterhole, but there's a very sad situation that's played out towards the end of the waterhole. Now, many of you who have been watching this show for a long time will have noticed and watched the fate of this torchwood or balanites tree with great interest. And they bolstered the bank with a berm, hoping that it wouldn't fall over. But I'm afraid nothing stops an elephant from pushing something over. It looks to me like the elephant's just snapped it and pushed it into the water. So that's the end of the balanites tree at Buffelshoek Dam. Just listening to the radio.
I'm going to get on to the Cutline now. Where would you like me to have a look?
So we're just listening because the tracks were apparently heading here.
From Park Road all the way down Quarry Pan Loop. And the last we heard of them was at Ngala Road North. It looks like they were heading back.
So the lions may have been here. They might be in the shade here somewhere. But it's quite exciting that there could be lions here. So let's just patiently look around.
Did you go north from Quarry Pan to Buffelshoek Dam?
Negative, Dave. I came across along Buffelshoek Cutline. I'm just going to try and turn this down.
Okay, copy that. I'll get into path and then come north along Quarry Pan.
And there we have got a water thickney sitting on the water's edge as the light begins to soften once again. The sun heading down towards the western horizon. Where else would it go? It would be a big problem if it wasn't going that way. So sad that tree's been pushed over, but you know, that is the way of things out here. And it's just the way it happens. One feels a little bit like the elephants have done damage there, but they haven't really done damage. That's just what they do. And everything out here has evolved to survive with them doing what they do. So, you know, while it does feel rather miserable to see, that's just how it is. All right, let's go and have a look around there. I don't think that the lions are close by here, but there are two people looking around as well. And I think it's the Talamati pride, and it'd be lovely to spend some time with them. I'm pretty sure that the dogs will be slowly waking up, so let's go back to Trishala at the other dam.
Well, James, I wish you were here so that you could tell them to start waking up. because they're still flat in that grass. Shout if you can spot them. Yeah. I see one. Hello, you. Even that is very difficult. So I only sought a 2. There we go. That makes it a little bit easier. Flick of the ear, flick of the tail. Let us know that you're there. Haven't we just been spoiled, absolutely spoiled, with wild dog sightings? I certainly think so. So, you know, I told you about the vultures that were around here. Only 2 members remained of the kettle that had settled there. And I think maybe it was just the smell of the wild dog's carcass, or the wild dog's kill, that had caused them to all kind of congregate. Which is a shame, because I did feel that maybe there were lions or something. But no. No. I hear some birds. I always, you know, here at Chitwadas, around the dam, it's quite an open space, and I always feel like I just want to see a lion walk down from a distance, or a leopard, preferably with a cub in tow. Ah, yay. Hello. There we go. So the position that they're in has made it very difficult for us to get much closer. During Kids Drive we tried, but our view was actually worse than it is now. At least now we have a bit of height because we're on the wall, so we can actually see them. There we go. Now they're all their heads are popping out. I think, guys, if you were to ask my advice, you pack, I would say that you need to go down and have a drink before you start your activities. And you should trust me. Yes. Nancy, you'd like to know if they're not related to domestic dogs. Hang on. Why are they called dogs? That's because they are canids. So they're not of the same genus as dogs, who are canis. They are lycaon. But they are canids. So they're part of the dog family. That's why they're called dogs. Look at those tails. Just gorgeous. Looks like we got you at the perfect time. You can hear them? You can hear them? They're all getting reacquainted after a nap. Just gorgeous. One individual looks like they're going to roll down that hill. Oh, slight tumble. All in the spirit of play. Come on, guys, come have a drink. Wrong direction. So there's some youngsters in this group. Oh, excuse you. That are particularly playful. You'll see lots of jumping, lots of play fighting, lots of play mounting. Very nice. How gorgeous was that ambient noise? Hear them squealing, communicating. They have an amazing array of calls. I think something like 20 or 24 calls. Different types of calls. Very cool. Now, I would love to get into a better position, but I think I'm going to have to wait for them to decide where they want to go and what they want to do. Oh, look at those beautiful tails. The sound of them I absolutely love. Is that Jimraz? You'd like to know if they ever wag their tails in excitement. I can't say actively wag like your dog would from side to side, but they do pick them up, and they can flick them quite a bit. And you would have seen just now that apart from chasing the flies, that is happening there with this individual, is chasing the flies, but they can pick their tails up and sort of give it a bit of a wiggle. That's what we are seeing when they're all greeting each other and they're picking their tails up. But something like that, that's simply chasing the flies away from those vulnerable parts we spoke about earlier. And now they decided to hide from us yet again. We can still see you. I didn't actually expect so many of them to pop out from the grass. That was really, really nice. So obviously I'm going to stick around here because this is the time that they will get moving again. They obviously they don't make a kill every day, but the requirement is about 1 kilogram of meat per day. So I would think that they will go possibly for another hunt tonight. Anyway, James has some elephants. I wonder if it's a treehouse dam, because that would be awesome. Let's get him.
No, Trishala, it is nowhere near Treehouse Dam at all. It's near Buffelshoek Dam. We've been at Buffelshoek Dam, and we've left 2 others following the lion tracks, and we were sort of trying to give a hand or thinking about it, and then we happened upon the elephant. And given that we've shown you absolutely bubkiss the whole day, we thought it would be a good idea to look at the elephant. I hope that bubkiss is not a offensive word to anybody. I think I learnt it when I was a little boy from a TV show. Could be offensive. If it is, I'm sorry. Just a few of them. I think 3 or 4. Anita, no, I don't think that elephants blockade a road for a reason with dead trees. I think they just push trees over, and sometimes they happen to block the road. I really can't see a reason why they would purposely do that in order to impede our movement. I suppose it's not totally impossible, but I think it's very unlikely. Now, what they're eating here is an interesting plant. And it's a classical example of what I was talking about earlier, about how plants have evolved to live with elephants. If you go into the camp at Ngala, where the tented camp, which obviously you can't, but maybe Roan or one of the other guys can one day drive you onto the lawn, there is an example of this tree that is probably 20 meters high, and in the absence, it's called a roundleaf teak. In the absence of elephants, I'm really not giving you a great view of it. Hang on, let me move a second. In the absence of elephants, it forms a large furniture building tree. So the kind of tree that you can plank into making furniture.
Is it the low stuff there?
It's the low stuff there that she's eating. That is the roundleaf teak. But in the absence of in the presence of elephants, it grows like this because they love the young stalks, and so as soon as they're long enough, especially in winter, she's actually eating grass right now, but in winter they pull off the stalks when they're about this length, tear the leaves off and chew the bark. And so you will not find a roundleaf teak bigger than this in this reserve, and if you drive through what looks like a fairly innocuous thicket there, you're very likely to leave a hole in the sump of your vehicle. I actually don't know what a sump is. I just believe that there's something under the car that you can damage. And the reason that happens is that they're old trees, and the stumps have become so big that and heavy and thick under the ground that they're totally immovable. Louise tells me that it's where the engine oil is. The sump, that is, not the big thick trunks. Oh, things have turned out quite nicely now here. Lovely light as they feed. You can hear some of them shouting.
There's a breeding herd just south of the dam with a little youngster that's only a couple of weeks old within one of them.
So that's the same herd as this crossing towards this area. Yeah, it's got a bit of gunk in its eye. Barb and Chicago, adult elephants and whales and crocodiles and cattle are called bulls by English convention only. There is no biological reason why they should be called bulls. It's just what English convention says we should call them. And likewise cows. The most interesting one I heard, of course, was that bull, at least female crocodiles are called cows as well. And there's a little baby in between these two cows. Alright, Trishala's now about to remove her dentures, strap herself in, because the dogs are up.
They are up. If I had a seatbelt, I would be strapping myself in. But I think my car knew better than me, and these dogs have decided that they're still just hanging around. I explained to Louise the exact kind of feeling I'm getting from them. It's that feeling when you go out with your friends and you haven't decided which club you want to go to yet. So you end up driving to a particular road and everyone stands around and talks for a little while everyone decides which club they want to go to. And you think you're going to be moving, but then, oh no, something stops you. And then you think you made a decision, but oh, no, somebody else wants to have something to eat first. That's the impression I'm getting from these dogs this afternoon. Just when you think they're up and ready to go, they lie down again. You look like you're the one that's most bored with the fact that nobody's making a decision. Yes. Ziad, you'd like to know what is the difference between a wild dog and a wolf? Well, firstly, a wild dog is the most endangered carnivore that we have, or Africa's most... Oops, let's turn that down. Most endangered carnivore. And obviously they occur in Africa. Now there is a wolf that occurs in Africa, and that is the Ethiopian wolf. But other than that, we don't get wolves, at least as far as I know. Now, of course, they're both canines, but wolves are usually in North America and Eurasia. And they are Canis, I think. Yes, they are. Wolves are Canis lupus, and the wild dogs are a Lycaon pictus. So they fall into different genuses, even though their family, Canidae, is the same. So usually, if we're looking at similarities, canids have the same teeth structure. Wild dogs, though, tend to have exactly the same formula, but differences in actual size of the teeth. Apart from that, I mean, they're different animals. It's just that they fall into the same family. In the same way as say, a tiger and your house cat are both felids, although they're very different animals. Their ears are also quite unique. Wild dog ears, very, very round, almost satellite dish-like, and that's very important in order to collect sound. When we think of ears, you don't realize how important the back of your ears are, just as important as the front. Now, I talk about the ears, or part I'm talking about is the pinnae, which is the bit that sticks out of your head, because your actual ear is inside the head of the animal, or your own head. And what having a back and a front and a dish-like shape does is really important and very useful in order to get direction. So you can tell where the sound is coming from with ease. Now, besides that, the sheer size and that shape, that bowl-like shape, can concentrate sound into the ear. And ears are awesome in that each species that has evolved this outer pinnae, of course there's some animals that don't, like aquatic species, sharks, seals, etc. But those that have developed a very specific shape to them. No two species have the exact same shape of pinnae, because they have evolved to listen for specific things, just like your own. All those windy little bits that are in your ear that look kind of strange, those little bumps and grooves, those are shaped that way because that is the best way to collect the sound of a human voice. In fact, if you were to hear a human voice amongst the crowd, or amongst other sounds, you're 100 times more likely to catch the sound of the human voice, and that's because of the way your ear is structured. Now, the way an antelope's ear is structured, they'd be listening for members of their own species' calls, usually young, and predators. And so their ears change and have formed over the years, millions of years, to be able to have that shape. And the same goes for these dogs. Over millions of years, their structure, their style of hunting, their types of prey, their social dynamics, the way that their calls sound, the fact that they travel huge distances, have huge home ranges, has developed these massive ears, rounded massive ears, that are specific to allowing them to listen for specific things, specific calls, members of their own species, and of course prey. I always think it's quite cool because you think it's just ears, but nothing in nature is just anything. It's all amazing. I hope that you feel it's amazing too. Anyway, Rowan at andBeyond's Ngala has the white lions of the Timbavati. So let's go over to him.
And it's actually so nice to have the two of them right next to each other. There's a lot of yawning, look at the teeth. Whew. And that's a youngster. But yeah, a lot of grooming, a lot of yawning going on, a lot of shaking of the head. These are the only 3 out of the entire pride that's awake for now. She's up. Maybe she wakes up some of the other youngsters. Maybe she's just asking for the other one. Well, asking to be groomed. Yeah, going for the latter. So she pokes her head right in there, asking that one to lick her. And there we go. He's complying, or she. I wonder, it must be quite nice to have a lion lick the back of your ear. Well, for a little while, and then you start freaking out, I guess. Probably the 4th lick, you won't have an ear left. The first lick would be nice. Actually, maybe the back of your head would be better. Of course, their tongues are very, very rough. It's about 50 times rougher than that of a house cat. Oh, he's going to get up. See, he's already got a bit of a mane going on there. Big stretch. Up goes the tail. Actually, that stretch wasn't too big. You need to do more yoga. and also wants to be groomed. Like a very big cuddling contest there. The real deal is also very excited. Oh, there goes the female. She's coming from behind. More lions. He's very excited. He said lions, his favorite. The real deal, I agree. Absolutely stunning to see these cats. The face of the lioness in the back, how she's drawn her lips back. So one of the lions might have urinated there, and she's trying to make sense of that scent. So she's pushing the urine back into an organ of Jacobson. It's called a phlegm grimace. Let's see who else the little white lioness is going to go wake up. There's always one. No, she just wants to greet the older lioness. Look at the size difference there. It's almost like a house cat that walks right up to your legs. Willie Girl has asked for a close-up of the lion's eyes. Willie Girl, we will a little bit later. For now, just to give you the whole picture, we wanted to park quite a way off before we drive a little bit too close. It's again, they're just right on top of everyone. That's one way to wake everyone up. So a little bit later on, we'll try get a little bit closer, and then you'll get the close-up of the eyes. It's just nice to see the whole picture for now. Right on top of the mom, also asking to be groomed. This is why we waited so long to come to the lions, because it's only really once it starts cooling down that they'll start getting active. And this is exactly what we want. So you're just rolling around. How cute is that paw on? So that's the mother's paw on the youngster's head. See what the little white one has to do. Also asking to be groomed. She's right next to her sister. Her sister is just on her, also rolling over now, on her left-hand side. Kicked her in the face. Oh, now it's just cuddles for everyone. See how it's like having jealous kids. No, this one's grooming better than the other one. Oh, right on top of the other white lioness. Starting to bite him now. So the paw also reaches for the head. So often what they do is they shift the head to a side. And they say, okay, now clean here now. Oh, how cool is this? Definitely worth waiting for. And she's tired of being groomed. Wants to go explore. Make a wee-wee. You're on live TV. Lou says lions are our favorite animal because of this reason, which probably because she's weeing on live TV. Thanks, Lou. It's good to know. I'm very happy. No, but they are nice to watch, being social cats. The white lioness is now just exploring. She might, no. Just found something interesting there to smell at, so let's go a little bit forward and then we'll get that close-up of her eyes. Also, if you can get that right in front of the vehicle while she's staring straight at us. She might give us a look again soon. See the beautiful blue eyes. We were actually saying this morning when we got here that her and her brother look quite a lot like the facial structure and everything. That's stunning, eh? Really just very pretty in the light there. Don't know what she's looking at. There might be... We had some Impala rutting. It's a little bit of a way away earlier. She might be looking at them. Now she's looking at us. The grooming is still going on to her right. Oh, maybe a big yawn? No. More interested in us. Or sneeze, maybe. What's happening? Didn't she look like she wanted to sneeze? Oh. Oh, here comes another youngster. Chloe's asking if any, or lions or any of the feline family of species see in colour. So Chloe, no, they're all colourblind. But mind you, sorry Marcel, can you, is this light in the way? Let me just shift a little bit more. Actually all predators are colourblind, especially lions. I'm going to see where she moves and then we'll decide where we park. So no, none of them see in colour, although mind you that because they're colourblind, black and white are the two colours that stick out most. So if your question was leading up to whether they know this is different, oh, her sister's coming to play with her now. This should be quite fun to watch. You can see she's going straight for the little white liners. So they'll be able to see there's a difference being a white line or tawny line. Of course, the one is going to stick out more. Oh, look at that sisterly love. See how she plays, and she goes straight for the throat or the jugular, and then the hind legs are almost kicking back. So this is exactly how they'll hunt. A bit of an older one coming also now. An older female. In a bit, I think what I might do is reverse a little bit just to give you a better view. That's fine, eh? Some of the older lionesses are also waking up now, starting to groom and lick themselves. There we go, there's that close-up you wanted of the eyes. Aren't they just magical? Very cool through the grass as well. You know, it's hard. It's always very... here comes another youngster. Seems like James is also searching for lions. So let us send you back over to Djuma. Let's see where she goes quickly. She's following her sister. The majority of this pride will actually get up in a little while. But I think for now, let us send you back over to Djuma, see how James is going with his lion search, and then we'll catch up with all of you very soon.
I think that's the longest link in the history of long links. I think Trishala would have been proud of that one, Rowan. We are sitting with some Franklins. The guys have tracked these lions. I think we might lose signal, so I'm just going to keep going, not because we're going to lose signal, but I do want to go to the hyena den. Many of you are asking what's going on there. I'm just going to have a quick look around here and see if the lions don't pop out at Buffelshoek Dam. One of the guys who's tracking them is an experienced Londolozi ranger, ex-Londolozi ranger, and he reckons they've gone down into the drainage line south of Buffelshoek waterhole. Drainage line is a slightly idiotic way of saying river. I don't know why we say it. I don't know why it comes so easily, but that's what it is. And so we'll just have a quick peep around here, and then I shall head to the den to see if Raymond will reveal her cubs once again. Oh, but there's a hupu. Nope, it's gone. Whoop, whoop. No, don't worry, let's carry on. Time is now running out for us. Yes, the sands in the hourglass starting to run out. Dear Nero, if I could fly like a bird, I'd fly over Torchwood and find Tundi and her cubs. That's what I'd do. I think that's probably what I'd do. Then I would fly north into Africa, and I'd fly over the Congo, I'd fly over the Sahel and the Sahara and have a look there, and I'd probably come back down over Namibia. I'd also definitely fly the Mediterranean coast to see what it's like there. Oh, the places I'd fly. Utterly astonished you have signal here. So let's go to row, and the lions are playing, and we have run out of signal.
Find these things here. Hey, Slender.
So the one lioness actually came this way now and started moving. There's another youngster coming. Then the little white lioness picked up a stick, and so now it's caused her sister to try find her own stick. This might create a bit of jealousy soon. So let's see what happens. This lioness plonked herself right on top of the little white lioness. See the youngster coming? How the head is dipped. And the other one doesn't want to play. Big stretch. Those look happy when they stretch. Okay. Oh, there you go. Eye for an eye there. If you roll over onto me, I'll do the same too. And of course the two babies just playing in the background right behind the mom. And the mom might get involved fairly soon. Just grab one of them. Yeah, there we go. You can actually hear the groaning there. Bit of growling. It's just the perfect time to be with lions. She's got a foot in her mouth. I must say they play rather hard with each other every now and then. A stunning lioness. She's going to stretch her claws here. You can actually hear it soon. Didn't hear too much there. It's quite cool to look at the trees afterwards. And you find the claw marks there. I remember in India, you could see the tiger claw marks all over the ghost trees there, which is really cool. I mean, those trees are very white. You can go a little bit forward. Some more members of this pride is waking up. There you go. And I was asked if they can fight amongst themselves, and absolutely, yeah, and they do often. Actually, a lot. Sorry, myself, how much? I'm just trying to maneuver the camera. I think what I'm going to do is put them on my right-hand side, rather. So they do fight amongst themselves, of course, especially when there's food involved, when there are carcasses in the area. You often find them fighting, and you'll notice with, oh, look at those eyes there. Let me just park here quickly. You'll notice with even the youngsters, a lot of them have scratch marks. Okay, so this youngster is going to do exactly what the mom did, and also stretch his claws against the tree here. The youngsters, you often find them even climbing trees still. Wouldn't that be fun to see? Oh, there you go. Ask and you shall receive. You can go very high and try again. Actually, the white one's going to grab him down if he goes again. Or she might see if she can go higher. Now everything's again. Also, how's this view? Let me change just a little bit this way. I'm not trying to disturb them too much, but that might work better for all of you. So yeah, they do fight often. When there are carcasses involved, they get quite aggressive with each other. Shiloh, who's only 9, has asked, why do some of the lions have flies on their faces? Shiloh, it's the same as flies being around you. They are attracted to moisture a lot of the time, so you'll find them go in the nostrils, in the mouths, and into the eyes. And of course, these lions aren't really as clean as us, so they'll end up having more flies. They also don't have the capability to swat them away with hands and fly swats like we do. Oh, wow, sunset's also spectacular. So yeah, mostly just moisture, shallow. Oh, this youngster also has beautiful eyes. The white eyeliner below it. Just keeps looking up the tree. Leopards do that often if they want to climb a tree. Lions, basically young lions would do exactly the same. As you saw, he didn't get very high up, but kudos, well tried. Made the little white lioness jealous. I think she wanted to try the same. Vesa, you're absolutely right, and that's often what we find with lions. You know, they look good going up the tree, but coming down, that's you, right on top of the tawny one. He's now grabbed the stick that she was playing with. But yeah, coming down the tree, honestly, there's just no elegance involved at all. One of the older lionesses also got up now, and she's moving this way. Let's see what happens. You can hear the low growl. Oof, yeah, get off of me. Okay. It'd be quite nice to see these young lionesses. I think they'll grow up to be very, very, very strong and hold their own, because they are 6 months younger than the youngest. Oh, now everyone's waking up. This entire pride is going to soon come straight towards us. Of course, we're not too far from the water, where the weaver nest and the grebes were a little bit earlier. So the one standing in front, that one we focused on now, she's the lead lioness. You can actually see very, very strong shoulders, big chest, and everything. Oh, he's got his stick. Is he going to leave with it? No. Liu has commented about the lioness's diet. Liu, I don't think I'm going to mention that on live TV. Oh, there we go. Out again. Huh. Waiting for one of the Ross males to wake up. They're also in there somewhere. I haven't seen them this afternoon, but earlier on we saw them. Okay, well, it seems that Trish is searching for her dogs, so we're going to send you there, and Masa and I are just going to stay put here, and we'll see you soon.
The dogs have moved in the direction that one direction not moving. So then we had round, and they are nowhere to be seen. But isn't that just the way that dogs work? So we're gonna head up to the cut line. That's Gowrie, Maine. Exactly. It appears that they all just decided to get in the car and go to a totally different street and a totally different club. None of the ones on the street we're gonna do. And they've just gone. And that friend that went to buy a kebab with the one stand just left there. Like, why didn't you wait for me? James a while.
Sorry about that. Trishala is speaking in robot. We are going towards the hyena den. Those other guys are going to stand by on Biffleshoek Dam Wall, which I think is a good way to spend your evening, especially if you have a gin and tonic in one of those thermos cups or glasses, lots of ice in it, lemon, sun going down, pretty lady next to you, or man, depending on your bent. In my case, obviously my wife. That's all I think about when I think about that sort of scene. And, well, I think what a wonderful way to spend an evening, waiting for the lions to arrive. We are going to go to the hyena den, and hopefully we too will have a wonderful evening with Rabone's cubs. I am driving like a maniac because I want to get there before it gets too dark. Melissa, in Singapore, I tend not to snack before the drive, which is not to say I'm not a snacker. It's just to say I'm not a snacker on drive. Owen likes to have one snack bar per drive, correct, Owen?
In the morning.
In the morning. And biltong in the evening. Biltong, for those of you who don't know what it is what the Americans call jerky. In most parts of the world, it's the kind of rations you give to soldiers to eat as a last resort. In South Africa, it's a delicacy. Much like the rusk. Then David, on the other hand, David, who's with Trishala right now, takes a vast array of goodies to eat. He'll take an orange, an apple, a kiwi fruit, a bag of nuts. Today he took popcorn, and Lauren takes a banana and peanut butter. Some people take a lot. David normally leaves then the detritus. Your aerial's done, Owen. David leaves his stuff in the car, so we're constantly his catering equipment, as I like to recall it. He must take 5 litres of water with him on drive. He drinks about 500 millilitres of it, so about a tenth, but always is the crunching and squelching of a 5 litre bottle of water. So that's David. I don't know if Trish takes snacks. I'm not sure if Trish takes too many snacks with her. I tend not to. I do eat a lot when I'm in camp, though. I like to have coffee and a snack before afternoon drive, and in the morning just coffee, and sometimes I treat myself to a tennis biscuit when I'm feeling very naughty. There seem to have been quite a few elephants around here during the course of the day. Yeah, no, Trishala and I are the same. We don't take water or snacks on drive. No, I don't get thirsty, Louise. I drink beforehand and then afterwards. This fallacy that the human body needs to drink litres and litres of water all day long has no basis in physiology. All you're likely to do if you drink 9 glasses of water a day in a cold environment, or if you're not sweating, is to create a major salt imbalance, and obviously spend a lot of time relieving yourself. Laura Moore, what was that? I didn't catch that question. Sorry, Louise. Oh, no, clearly not in my case. Maybe I should start taking snacks on drive. The animals don't appear to be attracted by snacks. I will tell you that we dropped an orange segment out of the car the other day. David did. And there was a young elephant not too far away, and we watched as he came up to it, sniffed it, got a fright. There's a duiker, which will almost certainly run away before Owen can bring the camera to bear on it. Oh, look at that. And the little elephant sniffed it, got a bit of a fright, and then kind of looked like a naughty kid in a candy store, picked up the orange segment gently with the end of its trunk and ate it. And the expression on its face was one of profound delight. All right, let's go back to Rowan with the lions. Is this Trishala coming up behind me? I hope not, because you're going to be deeply disappointed.
So slowly but surely, the entire pride is moving towards us. There's a little white lioness. One of the youngsters is sharpening its claws, and every single lion has come here to stretch and sharpen its claws against that tree. Bless you, little white lioness. The female here in front is fixated on impalas that are ratting in the background. So she is hungry and she is ready to go for it. The other females are just lying down in the big clearing. You can actually hear the impalas ratting in the back. That psh. So all the youngsters also looking in that direction. One of the Ross males has come out. I haven't seen the other one yet, but I know he's here. Saw him this morning. Back down. That the youngster behind this female is now just kind of cuddling the tree instead of doing anything. It's like it's just hugging it. Hug a tree day. I know James did that the other day, so like our lions should do it as well. Actually, maybe these impalas are now spotted one of these lions, and that's why the lioness is lying down. So cover's been blown, and there's no chance of ambushing them now, which is why her eyes are now closed and they're just staring at us, especially this little white lioness. Give you an idea, she's probably about 5 meters away from us now. Bug Freak is asking for an update on the Ngala male, the young male. There goes the little lioness, also going to stretch her claws. Or not, or just start playing. The male white lion is also making his way here now. Bug Freak, we have not seen him now for 3 days. So no update. I wouldn't worry too much about him. You know, over the past year, we see him with the pride, then he gets into a fight with the Ross male, and then he leaves for about a week, and then he comes back and he's with the pride. You know, we've seen this cycle happen so much. Also going to stretch his claws. Isn't that amazing? Every single lion has gone to that tree. Of course, what they're doing is they're also stretching the tendons as well as sharpening the claws there. So I'm pretty sure maybe in the next couple of days we'll find him again somewhere. Everyone's favorite lonely male lion. I'm hoping that in the next 20 minutes or so, because it's cooling down quite significantly, that maybe one of the other male lions from east of us will start roaring, which will mean the Ross males will have to answer. And the Ross males being with the rest of the pride, the entire pride will roar. All the females will get involved, because of course it sounds more dangerous having an entire, oh, he's got his stick now, having an entire pride roar, because it's more animals. Wouldn't that be amazing? So Marcel and I have found our spot for the afternoon. We are definitely not moving. Big yawn. Pahal was asked if they leave claw marks as a mark of their territory. Oh, did you get the one lion just hit the other lion literally on the nose with that stick, and that's why he jumped up and actually got upset because of it. So Pahal, no, not really. Oh, no, it's on that lioness's head. That stick is dangerous. It's a bit like the hippo, Djuma, playing with the stick. That's now going to go stretch his claws as well. It's literally just to stretch the tendons. Is when you wake up and you stretch your fingers back, mostly like that. Territorial marking would be more of a scent marking and sound, other than a tree. Do the tigers in India, is that a territorial mark when they scratch a tree? Could be. I can't remember what our guide said about that. I think it was because some of the males would try to scratch higher than they actually could. And I know lions, it doesn't really matter. It's not like they're trying to scratch high up a tree. They literally just leaned with their claws onto it to just stretch it out. So there's still a lot of just stretching, yawning, grooming. everyone hunts to have a chance with this tree. Some of these claws look rather dangerous, from where I'm sitting. That stick was funny. You could actually hear the bang when it landed on the white lioness's head and on the other one's nose. Quite sore. Bless you. Bit of hay fever. Lou just made a very, very bad joke, and I'm not going to say anything. One's coming towards us. Look at the gorgeous eyes of this one as well. Cringy Kids, a very interesting name, has asked, how far can lions hear from? Cringy Kids, a lot further than humans can. I think their hearing must, oh bless you, what do you say, about 10 times better than ours, even more. So I'm going to use the roaring, because that's what we're waiting for, as an example. So we can hear lions roaring from 7 kilometers away, and I'm pretty sure lions can hear and distinguish lions roaring from 25, 30 kilometers away. So it depends on what's happening and what they're listening to. It's also their hearing would be able to incorporate different frequencies than ours. Ours isn't too great, but their hearing, like all their senses really, their eyesight, their smell, and their hearing are absolutely fantastic. So I don't know if there's a distance been put on how far a lion can hear from, but I can tell you now, Cringy Kids, it's a lot further than you, or me, or Marcel. Marcel says it depends a lot on the type of sound it's listening for. Another go at the tree. Oh, it's starting to bite it now. Everyone's angry with this tree.
Their high frequency hearing is not as good as the low frequency.
Okay. And another stretch. You can actually see the satisfaction on their faces when they stretch like that. It's a bit like you when you wake up in the morning, you stretch out your arm, you yawn, you go, "Wah." So I'm pretty much imagining it. Oh, right on top. That could not have been pleasant. I mean, that's about 160 kilograms right on top of some. Oh, so you can see the one's getting angry. It's a little bit too heavy. Okay. Well, the little white one, the male seems to have taken ownership. And this one's going bunny bashing right into the tree. Just wait for it to come out. Okay. Well, we're just going to sit here for a while longer, see if what they do. They seem to be settling quite a bit. Well, not this one. He wants to go stalk male impalas. Probably going to lie down on the road soon. It's always nice. It's such a nice feeling that we could just park here and these animals are just not disturbed by us. So, they slowly start waking up and doing things, whatever they do when they wake up. I'm going to send you to James, who's at Ticket Ribbon's Den.
We are at Ribbon's Den, and we've just had the most gorgeous view of a green-winged Pytilia. You can't believe it. And Ribbon has not done anything other than lie there. She too has been watching the green-winged Pytilia. Its gorgeous red face was just so lovely in this light. I don't know, juxtaposed against the green, but now it's gone. Still behind the bush there, we think. And we are looking at Ribbone. The riveting Ribbone, who, despite bringing her babies out last night, perhaps to show the rest of the clan, has decided against it this evening so far. This is not to say that she won't call them out. There it is. It's just flown into the top of the tree there. Yeah, that one. Just zoom in there. We're losing light rapidly. Yeah, in the middle there. Just scan around there. You might get it. The green-winged Pytilia is Owen's favourite bird. It's sort of close on my favourite bird. I love colourful little finch-like birds. Of course, it used to have a much nicer name, but the ornithologists decided to ruin its name. It used to be called the Melba Finch, which I think was such an attractive name. But the ornithologists decided, no, that's much too attractive. Let's call it something ridiculous. No, it's gone deep in there because it's going to sleep inside the thicket there. Green-winged Pytilia. It is a bird of Nemesis. No, Rosemary, I've never managed to get a picture of the green-winged Pytilia. In order to get a picture of the green-winged Pytilia, you must be a relatively fast photographer. I am comfortably the world's slowest photographer, and therefore have never come anywhere close to taking a photograph of a green-winged Pytilia. Rest assured that if I do ever get a picture of a green-winged Pytilia, I shall post it all over social media faster than you can say social media. Now, while we wait for Ribbon to do something other than lie there, like a recalcitrant teenager, it falls upon me to remind you that you can support us if you would like to. WildEarth.tv/support is how you do that. There's been a pretty overwhelming response, I believe, over the last week or so thank you very much to those of you who've managed to make a contribution. Please do not feel obliged. Obviously, this is a very difficult time for everybody in the world, but if you would like to help us out, that would be great. She moved a foot. Goodness, Owen, how did you manage to contain yourself? I'm surprised you didn't whoop loudly, like a hyena. Gosh, she does attract the flies, doesn't she? I suppose this comes with not bathing properly. I've known one or two people that attract flies like that. Yes, Jake, we do find hyenas hunting. It's not that common here, though. You know, while they do hunt, they don't hunt nearly as frequently here as they do in a place like the Masai Mara of Kenya. There they hunt much more than they do in the Kruger area, and that's because the habitat's different and things, basically ecology is slightly different and the clans are much bigger. Here they get most of their food from scavenging, but absolutely they do hunt. So we have seen them hunting here, but not nearly as frequently as we used to see them hunting in the Masai Mara. You can hear the lovely calls of the Kite-proud scrub robins. David in Spain, my coolest story involving hyenas. Well, I suppose it's the times that I've discovered little babies for the first time, when they've stuck their heads out of the den and revealed themselves. I'm not sure who it was who discovered Plonk. Which one of the team? It may have been me, but it quite easily wasn't. But those are the times that I have found hyena sightings the coolest, when the little black balls of hyena fluff come out of their burrows for the first time and look at the world. Those are probably the most exciting sightings for me. I've definitely seen them, you know, in full kind of battle mode, chasing lions and that sort of thing, and that can be fascinating too. But for me, it's the youngsters. So Kirsten and Louise saying that Jamie found Plonk. I'm perfectly happy to go with that. I didn't think it had been me, but thought it may have been. I've definitely found a hyena for the first time in that den, but I think that was earlier. I think it was a generation before, well, not a generation, but about a year before Plonk was born. Anyway, Plonk, for those of you who don't know, was the previous matriarch's son. And he was born very close to here. Delightful fellow he was. Slightly more confiding than Ribbons too. I still think this clan is in flux. I don't think it's a settled clan. And a lot of the females before Ribbon took over had had babies relatively recently, and perhaps that's why they haven't had more. Why she's the only one after this length of time to have youngsters here. It's possible that Hart has youngsters, but they'll probably have to get a little bit older before she brings them over to the den here. I hope this becomes the central den. It's nice and easy to access. We know it well. All right. So apparently, from Michael Fleetwood, Taylor and Herbert found the den on foot. I mean, it's a den we obviously know very, very well, but they obviously found that there was fresh hyena activity there. Taylor and Herbie did, and then Sydney Fumulani Mikosi came in and checked it out, and he was the one who spotted Plonk for the first time. So it definitely wasn't me. There we go. That's the one. So I discovered Corky's previous cubs, D1 and D2. There we are. And discover is a very strong term. Drove up to the den and had two heads stick out, and then claimed all the credit. Know where D1 and D2 ended up.
You're going to need some oil.
All right, we're going to go to infrared. We'll do that while you are with Trishala. I don't know where she is, or what she's doing.
Well, I was definitely looking for dogs all over. Could not find them. Now we surprised, they run and so easily be missing.
Sorry about that. Trishala's signal has been up the wazoo this evening, so I do apologize on her behalf. She will no doubt take responsibility and punish herself severely by going to bed without supper tonight. It's obviously not her fault at all. The Mahindra is not performing this evening. It's not actually the Mahindra's fault either. So I'm afraid Ribbon has decided that she has no desire to show her babies to me. Or you, currently. But hopefully it'll happen. Well, yes, Yaku, at least I have some brag for D1 and D2, right? Cool. I think I almost claimed finding Plonk. I did spend a lot of time with Plonk after we had found him. Alright, we'll sit here just in case she sticks her head out of the den. Well, not her, in case her babies stick their heads out of the den. You're going to go and finish the drive with Rowan.
Don't know who won the competition, who was the first one to see the cubs at Ribbon's Den. I think what I remember correctly, I saw them the first time with Trishana, was it? Marcel, can you remember? Actually, let's rather not push buttons. Right, so we are back to doing what lions do best, and that is sleeping. Lewis just confirmed that Trish was the one to see the cubs for the first time. Anyway, so yeah, some of the youngsters below the tree are still awake. I know that lioness dipped her head now, but she was looking very interestedly in the direction of the impalas. One lioness here in front of us, she's yawning now. So I'll just follow her lead, see what she does. Of course, if one gets up, the rest will look in that one's direction to see what's happening. Still the two younger babies playing there, just underneath the tree to the left of the lioness. Beautiful sunset here as well, just right behind everyone, except we had to change to night mode. See there, Rasmal's got his head up and he's looking east, hopefully in the direction where we're hoping the other male lions will roar from, and they'll have to answer as male lions do. Not seen his brother yet. I know he was here this morning, but for now he's still not come through the bushes. Shame. It's a thick beard to clean. You're going to have an enormous hairball later. Oh, but what a spectacular day. I once had it was a Mexican lady. She was on safari with me and she was terrified of lions, but she was a hairdresser back in Mexico, and she was sitting next to me, and every single time we pull up to lion, she would not make eye contact. She will stay in a different direction. She'll actually look at me when the lion was on her left, and then the one day we came up to a male lion and she just looked at him like a quick glance, didn't want to make eye contact for too long, and she turned to me like, Rowan, where does he do his hair? Do you guys put conditioner in there? And it was just mind. But yeah, seems like these lions are not going to do too much for the next couple of minutes at all. Quite sad. She might be able to, or help Sean find them like this tomorrow. So Lauren from Cape Town has asked if there are any white lions in the other areas of Kruger. So Lauren, we have 2 of only 3 wild white lions in the world, and Singita, which is just further east of us in Kruger, has the other young male lion. So yes, there are. Everyone falling asleep. Okay. Well, you know, at least tomorrow morning we know exactly where to start. And we'll of course be giving Sean a big hand with this. But from our side and from Marcel, it has been a spectacular day. Absolutely wonderful. It's been so nice having all of you on Game Drive with this afternoon. Yeah, thanks for the comments, thanks for the questions, and thanks for interacting with us. But this would wrap up our night safari. And what a better way to end than with sleepy lions. Good night, everyone.